Yeah, so as the meditation music started playing, I just remember he started laying down and, he was just, I don't know, at one point in time, he was just looking at me with his big green eyes, just like, he just looked like so at peace and happy. And I was like, you know, thank God, like now he's in a better place now. And so I remember he was just telling me, and then after that, I just got up and I mean, I literally felt like I was on like 10 different drugs at one time. Like, I felt like I was on crack, weed, like all of these things, and I just started getting up and I was like, oh my goodness, this room is a disaster. And then I just started wanting to clean up the whole room. But
It
then,
was so weird.
yeah, it was just weird. And I was like, okay, like, I just felt like I was on a party drug and,
Right.
and then, yeah.
So she was like such in like a turn up mode, and honestly, I've been like always the one to like. I mean, well, we both can be emotional at times, but God has dealt with me in that. You know what I mean? And I just remember she was such in a turn up mode, but I was like, there has to be something there. There has to be like, because I was like telling her like relax, and just listen to the music. I was telling her listen to the music. And if
Oh,
she wants to
yeah.
tell her experience, yeah, go ahead, tell your experience.
Yeah, so I was just really turned up, and then he was just like super calm, just like probably just like seeing like, okay, wow, like there's probably something, like people try to cover up things when they try to be so giddy all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, so the music was playing in the background, and he's like, I think you said something that was on your mind, you must have, or something
I don't
like that.
remember what I said, but I just remember I was trying to get you to get a.
Yeah.
It was God, honestly, giving. I was trying to get you to get a breakthrough,
Yeah, because he was
without even
like,
knowing it.
yeah, because he was like, there has to be something on, your mind, what's going on in your mind. And then I was like, oh, it's like nothing. And then he's like, oh, there has to be something. I was like, no. And then he's like, yeah, it has to be something. I was like, no, no. So I just kept saying no. And then
Yeah.
I started crying. he's like what's wrong? I was like, I just feel like I'm just always trying to chase the next high. And and I got my shrooms and I got what I wanted. I was like, but I'm still not happy, and I'm still just, basically, I was just saying, I feel like there's still something big missing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just saying how I was never going to be happy just continuing to chase a high. And I was just, and then so the music in the background was reminding me of a song that I'll never forget in church, the Here I Am to Worship song. So yeah, the piano was playing, and I was just in my head like, here I am to worship, here I am to bow down. And I was just pretty much like, am I worshiping and bowing down to these drugs? Like, like I need God, I really just wanted a better relationship with Jesus. And I actually said that. I was like, I know I just need God. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like she would say certain things about God like more than I would, And I grew up in a church where it was super like they were casting out demons, they were doing all types of stuff, and but she was more about God
Like
than
praying
I
and
was. Yeah,
yeah.
she would pray and all that too, but so yeah, so make a long story short, she actually had her breakthrough moment, and I like after the drugs kind of wore off, like I just remember me crying and being like, there's something so dark out here that we don't even know about. Like I just felt darkness.
Actually, that was when we were outside.
What do you mean? Well,
We
no,
were
I was in my
outside.
room. I was in the room, and I
Oh, you
was
were
in.
talking to me
Yeah,
and
I
you were
was
like,
talking
it's
to
such a
you.
dark time.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
was talking to her, and I was saying it was such a dark time and stuff like that, and so, and I just remember it took me a couple of days to like really get back in the motion of like me being me again. Like it kind of scarred me, for a couple of days. So fast forward, so that was like the year before. Like this was like 2018. So and we kept doing drugs after this too. Like we were doing ecstasy and well,
Or
we
we were
did
doing
ecstasy.
Molly.
Yeah, we did Molly. I mean, excuse me. And then we ended up starting to do acid too. So all right, this is the main part of how we came to Christ. Um, so I remember Brittany. She just had turned 21, and she planned to go to New York to hang out with her twin
No, I
sister,
was turning 22.
or 22, excuse me. And she was going to hang out with her sister in New York, and she was going to be gone for a week. So I'll give you my perspective on how things went for me, and then she'll give you her perspective of what she planned and how she wanted things to work out. So I'm I'm just like, getting worried now because I'm like, all right, I'm like, okay, my girl's gonna leave, I'll have my boys to hang out with. Man, God said, yeah, right. He removed my friends. So each one of my friends that I was supposed to that were close to me, they all went out of town too as well, as long as she was gonna be gone. So that was God using that moment for me to dig deeper and try to find him and go after him. But I did the complete opposite. So she left to New York. I don't even remember the date, what day she left.
May 6th.
May 6th. So she left to New York and she was going to be gone for a week. So I remember the first day, I'm telling you, that whole week she was gone, I was just drinking my life away. I had vodka, I had Hennessy, I was drinking everything, name it, I was drinking it. You know what I'm saying? I just remember drowning in my sorrows for a week straight. I was just smoking blunts, drinking, just being lost, and not truly being happy, and I had met this girl that invited me to Bible study while, she was out, in New York, but I never went. So basically while she was out in New York, I was just going down a spiral, I was just tunneling down, going down. And I just remember calling her a lot and feeling like, she wasn't really there for me, and she was just too busy having fun in New York and just forgot about me. So I was feeling alone at this point. I had nobody to talk to. I had somebody to talk to, but I chose not to talk to him because I didn't know any better. And I was just ignorant, so basically I was literally just drowning my sorrows in a bottle. I was drowning my sorrows in a blunt, just getting high, getting drunk all the time. And yeah, it just led me down a deep spiral. And I'm gonna let Brittany say what she had going on.
Yeah, so before I left, me and RJ were having a lot of problems, so I was like, well, I get to get a little getaway from him, and just kind of find myself, I guess. And I mean, originally I wanted to go out there, and my mom was going through health issues, and I wanted to just be there for her and just be a family. And my twin sister lived out there, and my mom lived out there, so I was like, now we can get closer and whatnot. That was what my spirit wanted to do. But then I got out there, and I let my flesh take over, and so it was a lot of just no quality family time. I didn't even know my mom or my sister. They didn't know me, and we didn't take the time to get to know each other. And me and my sister were just doing a bunch of drugs and drinking a lot and just, having fun, what we thought, And at the end of the week, I just remembered I was just so drained. I took ecstasy the night before that I had to catch. Well, the day before I had to catch a plane or something, and I just remember we were up till 7 in the morning, and then we finally got home, and when we got home, I didn't even go to sleep, and I was just wired, I just felt so depressed, I was just oh, I don't even want to show my face. Mind you, it was Mother's Day, and this is us on Mother's Day, and yeah, we got her some gifts, but no, I'm sure she felt our energy too, and it was just horrible, honestly. So yeah, I didn't fulfill anything my spirit wanted to fulfill when I went to New York.
Right.
And so yeah, then I came back, and I just remember crying. And,
right.
Because RJ came pick me up at the airport, and he had a bottle in his hand. He was like, yeah, let's do it all over again.
Probably some weed too,
Yeah.
Probably some weed. So I remember she got back, and I think it was the first day you got back, because I think you got back on Wednesday, right?
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but so I had gotten invited to Bible study by this girl. So after that, I think the first day she came back, we got into an argument. I really don't remember what it was about, but we got into an argument, and she was like, where are you going? Because I was about to storm out the house, and she was like, where are you going? And I was like, I'm going to a Bible study. A Bible study out of all places after you get into an argument, go to a Bible study. But so Went to a Bible study. No, okay. So she hopped in the car with me. I don't know how she got in with me. I don't even know, but she hopped in the car with me, and I remember she was like, "I'm gonna come with you. You know, I want to come with you." And I'm like, "Nope. You know, I don't want to be around you. Like, you're not coming with me. You know." And she was like, "Okay, whatever." You know. And then I remember, you know, like basically I kicked her out of the car. You know, basically. And you know, I dropped her off in the town center. You know, basically vulnerable and stuff like that. You know, by herself. And I drove off, you know, about to go to church just to get away from her. I didn't even have like I didn't want to go to church for God. I just did it to get away from her, you know. And boy, was I in for a rude awakening, you know.
God was waiting there for you.
Yeah, no, he seriously
Ooh,
was.
I got a word for you.
No, for real. He was waiting. So I remember I walked in the church, and I had, mind you, I haven't been to church in like going to a church in like 9 years, like, you know. I stopped going to church for like 9 years, my mom and me. So I walk into the church. I walk into the front doors, and I just hear this man preaching like, you know, just going, you know what I mean? And he was just preaching. I'm like, okay, my flesh was scared to even walk in the church. I'm like, I don't even want to walk in this room. Like, I don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
but
how many years has it been? Had it been?
Since I've been in the church, 9.
9
years. So
wow.
yeah, so it was a long time. So I didn't want to go in there, you know, and when I got in there, it was only God, because when I got in there, this man was talking about, you know, the role of a man and how you're supposed to protect your wife, but she wasn't my wife at the time, but she was my girlfriend. Man, she was like, and he was just saying like, how you supposed to protect your wife, and you know, you over there leaving her by herself, and mind you, I just walked into this building. I'd never been here before, and they didn't know the situation, nothing. He's literally preaching this, talking about how you can't leave your significant other vulnerable, and how, you know, you can be leading them down a path of destruction, and you are responsible for your kids, all this stuff, right? And all I remember after, it was a Bible study too. All I remember after was I was feeling so convicted. I remember I was crying in the car, you know, just feeling like, man, I can't believe like that sermon was about me. You know, I left her by herself. You know, I was just literally a dog, you know what I mean? And so I remember I got back home. I'm crying to her. I'm like, you know, I'm sorry, you know, you didn't deserve that. And, you know, and we were just like, you know, we made up, but we still continue to live the lifestyle. And another thing that happened also was that, so, and this is like the final straw. So Brittany, I was working at Applebee's at the time, and Brittany, she had picked me up from work, and we just went to the dispensary. And this is after the whole church thing and all that, like this is after that. We went to the dispensary, and we went to the dispensary and got some food, I think. So I remember I was, you know, happy. We were riding home. We had the blunts, you know, everything that we desired, you know. And all of a sudden, we're driving, and this dude literally tries to swipe his car against ours. I'm like, I'm kind of startled. I know Brittany was probably startled too. We're like, you know, what's going on? Like, you know, what just happened?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Brittany, we got to catch up to this dude, because we got stopped at a red light and he got to drive off. I'm like, all right, as soon as this thing turns green, we need to catch up to him, whoever this is, because I had no idea who this was, you know. So Brittany's stepping on it, you know what I mean, and she catches up to him, and we both get stopped at the red light after the light we were just stopped at. So we both get stopped there, right? And we're directly in front. We're the first cars at the red light, you know what I mean? And I remember dude gets out of the car, and I recognize him, and it was somebody that I stole an eighth from. An eighth here is $40, you know what I'm saying? And he was that mad because I stole an eighth from him. And it was a demon too, let's just say that. So he gets out of the car. I'm like, oh, this is you? Okay. So he gets out of the car, he pops his trunk, pulls his gun out, you know. I'm like, Brittany, drive off. But some reason she didn't drive off, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why she didn't drive off, but she didn't, you know. And then all of a sudden he puts his gun back, because he can see I was a little startled. The fact I didn't expect him to pull out a gun. But then after he gets back in his car, and then my prideful self, I said, oh, really? You just gonna pull out a gun and then hop back in your car like everything's all good? So I hop out of the car, I kick his door, He opens his door, and at this point, we are just fighting in the street, and there's cars lined up behind us, and nobody's honking. Nobody's saying, get out of the street. Nothing like that. Like, we're just literally fighting in the street. And I just remember, it got super serious. And I'll let Brittany tell the rest of the story of how she felt and, stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, so they just started fighting, and then, yeah, I mean, I was like, got out of the car, and I was like, I wanted to fight him anyways, but yeah, just because. And then so his girlfriend got out of the car, and his little cousin looked like he wanted to fight too. I don't know. But like, yeah, I wanted to fight her too. Well, not really, but I was just like, if you try to touch him, then, obviously I'm going to fight you.
How did you feel after the fight?
Oh, after the fight. Oh, okay. So yeah, we came home, and I don't think we said much in the car because like it was mostly just adrenaline was going, and we were like, oh yeah, that was so cool. I threw his shoe over the fence, just dumb stuff. And then we got home, and that's when I was like, okay, had some time to think about it. I was like, yo, we were so wrong. I was like, RJ, you handled that not good. Obviously I was right there with you. So. And
my mindset at that point was I was trying to defend you, but she wasn't having that.
Right,
so.
And I was like, no, we could have gotten killed. We literally, that was the wrong thing to do. And I was just crying, and I was just telling them that we need to do better. Pretty much.
Right. So then after that, honestly, that was the major turning point that brought us to Christ, because we were still going to church, but we were just kind of like, after that, like, this is the last step, this is the last, this is the final call from God. That's how we really felt, So we started going to church seriously, and that fight happened like in, I believe, in July or June. In one of those months, and that's when we started really getting serious about God, and we were going to church, and so after that we started going to church, and bro, when I tell you God was working in both of us, he was working in us, and like it was so amazing. Like, I had so much pride, Brittany had so much hurt and pain, I had so much hurt and pain, but God was just peeling back the layers, and really just manifested himself in us, and manifested himself in my wife, and she was my girlfriend at the time, but now she's my wife, and that's because of all glory to God, because I never wanted to be married, I loved her, but I never knew what it took to be a man, and God helped me and molded me to be a man, and he molded my wife to be a strong woman of God as well, and we just kept going through every situation, every tough situation. And we're going to talk about more about our journey as well. But this is just our testimony. And we kept pushing through, and God really blessed us. We got married, and
we got delivered from drugs
right.
and alcohol.
Right.
And that was tough,
Right.
That was probably the hardest thing to do for me, was like give up the substances, because it's like, when you revolve your life around that, you revolve your relationship around that, you don't really know each other for who we are, and now you're like, okay, I gotta let go of this, and now I gotta get to know you for real and love you for real,
Right.
And so that was really hard.
And another thing too, around that time, we actually didn't have sex until we got married. Brittany got convicted about it, and we stopped having sex while we were living together.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah,
anyways.
We did slip up a couple times, but
but
God
I got
really,
convicted each time.
God really convicted her, and I really felt like, man, you took my manhood away, but God showed me that sex isn't part of your manhood. Being married and loving your wife as you love the church is part of your manhood.
Amen.
And God really did so much for us. And honestly, to end this video, we're going to talk about the blessing of our now daughter who's on the way. She, like me and Brittany, we prayed for a family, and God, it was beautiful, man. I'm going to end it on this note. God had showed me in a vision my daughter, back in November, after we found him, and he rewarded us with this little girl right here.
Yeah.
And he showed me her in a dream, and I was holding her like this, looking down at her, and she was the most beautiful thing ever, and I almost woke up and started crying because it felt so real. And then, as the months went by, I found out it was actually a girl, And
Well, I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, you found out you were pregnant
in January.
Right. And he gave me this dream in October, and we actually got married in September 20th. We got married, and we got filled with the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, we got filled with the Holy Spirit in August.
Right.
Mid of August, and then we got baptized 2 days after we got married.
Right.
In September. So.
And then we got married in September, and then our daughter was conceived in November. That's how God works, bro. Like, he will reward you for being obedient, for not being self-righteous and having pride, and you really submitting to him. He will reward you with what you want, because I've always wanted a child ever since I was 16. Yeah. And now she's here, and so he's just an amazing God.
Yeah, it was really definitely a test of our faith. Now that I think about it, God doesn't just like reward you right away, mm-hmm. because he really wants to test your faith and see, hey, do they really want to ride with me, or are they just in it for what I have to offer?
Right.
Or do they just really, are they really just sorry for ignoring me,
Right.
for being in a life of sin? And so it took 2 months, but me personally, I went through a lot of spiritual warfare for a whole month straight, mm-hmm. when I stopped drinking and smoking, mm-hmm. and the devil was trying to tempt me, I blamed a lot of it on the devil, mm-hmm. which it probably was. I
right.
felt like a fear over me, which was not a godly fear.
Right.
I would be up for a month straight, not able to sleep through the night, and be in sweats, night sweats, and just, it was bad, but so we really went through trials and tribulations
right.
to get to where we are now.
And God had to give me a new identity, because I was so stuck in pride, and I had the pride of life, and he had to remove that from me. Show me I'm the same me, but I had to find my character in him, and find my, what I found glory to be in him, So we wanted to make this video to encourage you guys. This is one of our very first videos, and we plan to make more videos, even separately and together. So, I pray that this encourages people, and I pray that you guys can be blessed, and I pray that you watch both videos. And I'm gonna try to leave my Instagram in the bottom column thing. You know what I mean? I'm not very familiar with YouTube, but yeah, I pray this testimony blessed you guys, and I pray that you guys will be encouraged and continue moving forward. What was